HITC Sport. Alright, yeah, right now, Tottenham fans are currently stuck in the fetal position with a pillow between their legs. Honestly, most of them probably now sound like wailing pigs, terrified of the news that's been breaking this month. No, don't worry, it's not that you've all been asked to form an orderly queue outside the stadium, waiting patiently for your turn to be breastfed by Tim Sherwood. No, none of that. It's a slightly more pressing issue concerning one of the legendary figures of your club. But who? Who could I be talking about? What am I referring to? Is Rafa van der Vaart back from eating bags of garbage down the local dump? Has Robbie Keane just slipped in the shower? Has Yunus Kabul burnt a slice of toast? I don't know why I'm dragging this out, because you've already read the title, you've seen the thumbnail. There's literally no suspense here. But for weeks, the media have been acting like a North London homewrecker, trying to separate Harry Kane from Tottenham because apparently it's not fitting for the England captain to be stuck in a Tottenham team with other footballing peasants like Ben Davies and Harry Winks. Good Christ, it's almost as if the pompous British media think that spending too much time in the company of Joe Hart, that Kane is suddenly going to lose all feeling in his feet and immediately just forget how to play the damn sport. Good Christ, according to other wet vegetables like Paul Merson, the Spurs first team might as well be littered with leprosy, just walking unwashed flea bags that Keane should avoid at all costs. If it was up to them, they'd insist the England captain lock himself in the toilets at lunch just to save him from coming into contact with the chunks of footballing deadwood like Serge Aurier. God help us all, Danny Rose. But it doesn't help when even now, even their former players, heroes at White Hart Lane, are turning against the club and trying to twist the narrative to yank Kane out of North London.
Jermaine Defoe tells Harry Kane he has to leave Tottenham if he wants to win more major trophies, and warns he may regret staying too long with the striker linked to Manchester United, City and PSG. If you'd have asked me this question a few years ago, I'd have said he should have stayed there. What he's done at that football club, he's a legend. Since I've come away from that and gone to Rangers, I've seen that mentality and play for another big club, the importance of playing for that club and winning every game, that mentality, the standards, the demands.
I'll stop you there, JD. Yes, Rangers are a big club, but Christ above. This is a perfect example of a nearly middle-aged man who took him until nearly 40 to lift the first piece of silverware in his career, and now he seems to think he's above the level of Tottenham. Defoe, you quit the Bournemouth bench to go and score 2 goals a season in the rainy northwest of Scotland. You're only there because you're Stevie G's mate. It's not comparable to Kane receiving big money offers from Barcelona. Anyway, immediately the Tottenham fans reacted to this news as if they'd just been told to make love to a sweaty bowl of lasagna. And I'm guessing Defoe woke up to a Twitter sphere of furious Londoners swinging their beer bellies about like empty pinatas. And so step forward one of the clunkiest apology videos I've seen since Logan Paul.
So I just want to quickly put the record straight. Obviously I woke up this morning and I saw a headline saying I said that Harry Kane has to leave Tottenham. That's not what I meant, because being a Tottenham fan, I love the club, everyone knows my relationship with the club and the fans. What I meant was, you know, and what I actually said was, you know, Harry, his ambition, he might want to be.
Yeah, you know an apology is sincere when it's been hastily recorded on an iPhone outside the canteen toilets, and with Defoe tripping over his words as if they were made of broken glass.
He might want to finish up the highest top goal scorer in the club's history, ahead of Jimmy Greaves, which would be an unbelievable achievement. And along the way win some trophies, or, you know, he might want to leave and go and win loads of trophies elsewhere. You know, at the end of the day, ultimately it's up to Harry. But I just want to put the record straight because I don't want it to come across like I said that Harry Kane has to leave Tottenham. You know, being a Tottenham fan, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, I just want to put the record straight.
Oh, Defoe, sure, Defoe. This guy talks about Rangers as if they have a superior winning mentality. Lads, doesn't he forget Jose Mourinho has collected 25 pieces of silverware, including 2 Champions League titles? Compare that to Gerrard, who yes has done well, but it's a bit different when you're coaching your team to 3 points over Motherwell and Aberdeen. Do I think Harry Kane should leave Tottenham? No. The guy is being faced with the same career decision Alan Shearer had in 1996 when Manchester United wanted to drag him out of Blackburn Rovers for a world record fee. Make no mistake about it, the guy would have been an Old Trafford legend, arriving at the club instead of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that year, meaning the Norwegian would now probably be scrubbing toilets in IKEA. Shearer would have lasted about 5 years at the club, winning another 3 league titles, possibly the treble as well, and the guy would have been a next level global superstar. But does he regret that decision to chuck his Old Trafford legacy down the toilet to instead wind up in a Newcastle team with defensive cheese sandwiches like Andy Griffin and Titus Bramble in defence? No, because the guy broke Jackie Milburn's all-time record goal scorer. He set the Premier League goal scoring record of 260 goals. Sure, his big regret will have been a distinct lack of silverware to match his ability. But lads, he's got a statue outside the ground of his boyhood club and is the biggest footballing legend to ever don the black and white stripes. The media are acting as if Kane turning down European giants to stay at Tottenham would be like Johnny Depp turning down the lead role in a Hollywood movie to instead work part-time at Costa Coffee. Apparently Tottenham Stadium is just some small cottage in the north of London, full of employees who were starved of oxygen at birth, right? No, lads, the club isn't Ridgeway Rovers. Are we forgetting they are playing in a final in 3 goddamn weeks? Are we forgetting this team were Champions League finalists 2 years ago and finished second in the league in 2017? Once Mourinho has allowed another 2 windows, then trust me, he would have Tottenham fighting for the title. He'll have them competing in FA Cup finals anyway. This will happen. The media are tipping Kane for a move to Manchester United. I'm sorry lads, this isn't 1996 anymore. Are we forgetting that club hasn't won a single piece of silver in 4 goddamn years? And you know who the manager was to do it? Yeah, Jose Mourinho. I know Tottenham are going through a sticky patch, and I know Dynamo Zagreb used their dignity as a chunk of toilet paper, but Jose will turn this retro run of form around. He's dead for a move to Spain, but I'm sorry. Does Kane really seem like a player who'd be accepted at either Barcelona or Real Madrid? Let's not forget the latter is a corporate company centered around image. Good Christ, they turned down Ronaldinho because he was too ugly, and apparently that played a role in their decision to dump Angel Di Maria. Yeah, real sensible. The guy puts in a man of the match performance at the Champions League final, and yet you immediately exile him to the northwest of Manchester because he happens to look like Dobby the house elf. Listen, Karen Benzema will go down as one of Real Madrid's greatest ever players, and so to replace him with Kane, a clinical goal scorer sure, but with the face of a squashed omelette and the diction of a broken washing machine, do you really think the Madridistas are going to take to him? Good grace, all he has to do is look across the dressing room at Gareth Bale, a guy who probably needed 3 security guards to watch his car in Spain. I'm pretty sure the fella probably used to walk down the street in Madrid with his hood up in case anyone decided to chuck leftover sandwiches at his head. And that's how he was treated after winning 4 Champions Leagues. You can just imagine, 6 months will go by and Kane will barely be able to string 2 words together in Spanish during the interviews and will be turned into a laughingstock in the media. Good grace, Bale was persecuted for enjoying golf. Well, guess what? Kane plays the sport too, and so you can imagine if he goes 2 consecutive matches without scoring at the Bernabeu, the paparazzi will spot him on a golf course and the fans will be wanting for him to be burned at the stake. So really, chucking an unconditional hero worship at your boyhood club at a place where you will one day have a statue built outside this spaceship of a ground to instead just bow to the whims of a bunch of self-serving, ungrateful parasites? Good Christ, give it 18 months on the book as Real Madrid, and unless you win the treble in your debut season, they'll be screaming for the rooftops for Kylian Mbappe. Who else? Barcelona. Again, we all know what another world-class finisher Kane is, but considering Lionel Messi's coming to an end, then Kane would be that last blockbuster transfer record signing who'd be arriving to replace him. And I'm sorry, Messi is the purest form of footballing art. His first touch, his silky skills, his incredible balance, his dribbling, everything. It is footballing perfection. And so anyone bought to fill that void left by the great Messi is going to, in comparison, look like a melted snowman stuffed in football boots. Who else have we got? He's 16-1 to go to PSG. Sure, the media are trying to build this up as a nice little fairy tale reunion with Mauricio Pochettino. And yeah, sure, they can pick each other's belly buttons underneath the Eiffel Tower on Friday nights. It's a nice romantic novel. Beauty and the Beast, great. But is Kane really so desperate for trophies that he'd want to sacrifice a potential statue at Spurs just to go and lift a guaranteed French League title every year? Is that really what he's going to look back on and be proud of during his career? Finishing above Monaco and Lyon for a PSG side whose owners have virtually wiped out the competition with a fat chunk of cash. When Kane looks back at his career, he's going to want to be the reason for these trophy wins. Lads, you could honestly stick the local postman up front for PSG and they'd romp to the league title. And don't you tell me that he'd move to PSG to win the Champions League. Lads, that club have as many Champions League titles as Spurs do, and they've been the richest club on planet Earth for a decade. And again, you can just smell what's going to happen. Mbappe will leave in the summer, and if Kane replaces him, Neymar is going to turn his nose up and look at him as if he's a wet slab of gone-off meat. Neymar and Mbappe, contrary to those ridiculous bullying reports in 2018, they're a double act seen on and off the pitch, and I'm going to say it, Mbappe is probably Neymar's favourite strike partner of his career. And so bringing in the unfashionable Kane, sure he'd score 30 goals a season, but again, forcing Mario Icardi to the bench. Good Christ, that fella would soon have his wife feeding lies to the media about how Kane likes to skin rabbits alive for breakfast, or likes to spit at old ladies on the bus. Anything to create an unhappy working environment for the man. You know what the Icardis are like. Lads, forget trophies. If Kane winds up the record goal scorer for England, Tottenham and the Premier League, he will go down as the greatest English striker not just of his generation, but in history. I remember him making his debut, waddling into St. James's Park like a lanky cheese string. This is a guy who failed on loan at Norwich City, who Nigel Pearson didn't trust for a championship playoff with Leicester. This is a guy who was overlooked in 2013, instead watching his club pay 30 million for a Spanish postbox called Roberto Soldado. Kane's a guy who didn't score his first Premier League goal until he's 21. Compare that to Shearer, who's banging in hat-tricks against Arsenal at 17 years of age. Imagine telling someone back then, when Pearson didn't even deem him a better player player than David Nugent. Imagine telling them that he'd wind up a better player than Alan Shearer. Just unspeakable. If Kane could come back from the early career rejection to sit top of the pile in English football while still challenging for trophies under a world-class serial coach like Jose Mourinho, then honestly it will be the most inspiring redemption story ever seen in English football, and he will go down as the GOAT. So the bottom line is, Kane, stay at Spurs. And with that, anything else, let me know in the comments. What do you think? Do you think Kane should stay at Spurs? Do you think he should leave and go to one of these big European superpowers? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.